Hello and welcome to the Corgi Town USA podcast. We are having another day where we are just all kinds of fun with our technological monkeys and cat sniffles.
My sniffles from the shot number 2.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sick. So you can't catch anything by watching or listening to this podcast.
Well, what she didn't tell you is I've been beating her behind camera.
That's
So, just to get her hyped up. So anyway,
much.
I'm Candy
And I'm Catherine. Oh,
yeah, I'm Candy and this is Catherine. We're from Corgi Town USA. And in my lap is Chuckles. He is the president of the Corgi Committee and spokescorg for Corgi Town USA. And we also have Wiggin around here, Digby's best friend, and Digby is the chair of the Corgi Committee.
Yes. So everybody is present and accounted for from the Corgi Committee.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk to Tonie Pacheco with fanGlasstic. And Tonie makes really cool items. So a couple weeks ago, we had Victoria with Joy Dog Co.
Right.
And then we had Kim from Woofdayu Petcha.
Woofdayu.
Yeah, Woofdayu Petcha. And they make they make dog bandanas,
Yes.
apparel for your corgi. And so in keeping with this fun little kind of corgi items, I found fanGlasstic online and Tonie makes some really cool stuff. So we're going to talk about that once I get Chuckles to stop being so squirmy. Good luck with that, right?
Good luck with that. Yeah. He is a corgi, right? This is a corgi podcast, and we're talking about corgis with corgis, and they squirm a little bit.
Yeah, there will be squirming. There will be dog fur in the nose and the eyeball. Yeah. There will be borks out of nowhere. Yep. So all that good stuff. So should we bring Tonie on?
Absolutely.
All right, let's bring Tonie on and talk about fanGlasstic. Tonie, welcome.
Hi, thank you. I'm really excited to be here and a little nervous.
No need to be nervous. I mean, we pride ourselves in being a hot mess, but showing up anyway.
This is true.
So, we'll be a hot mess for you, and hopefully that'll make you feel a little bit more at home, and you won't have to be nervous because you'll say, "Look at these chicks; they're a mess. I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm totally good."
But we had some questions for you, looking at the website. And for those listening, I have it up on, or for those watching, I have it up on the screen. And for those listening, it's fanGlasstic, and it's www.fanGlasstic.com. fanGlasstic.com.
So that would be like fan and then glass and then tick.
TIC.
TIC.
Yeah. So so let's take a look at some of these items. I had a question. How did you get started? What made you want to start fanGlasstic?
Well, it started 100 years ago when I was in high school. I went to high school.
I do not believe that was 100 years ago.
I was like, you started to say that, and I'm like, this like her mother and her grandmother and her great grandmother. How wonderful!
That's what I thought too.
That's hysterical.
I went to high school in Monterey, and one of my best friend's fathers owned a stained glass company in Carmel Valley. And during the summer, we apprenticed with him, and I hated stained glass. I was constantly cutting my fingers and breaking stuff, and it was just not fun. And on the side, he started dabbling with dichroic glass, and I got into the science of it, and that's where it took off. So
you learned to love glass then?
Yes, especially dichro, because there's so much you can do, and it's never the same. Everything is completely different. The process is interesting because it was actually, dichro is Greek for two colors, and dichroic was created by NASA in the 60s for the Apollo space shuttles and for the astronauts. Okay. And if you look at their helmets and some sunglasses, you'll see that rainbow effect that's on it.
Right.
That's dichroic. And it's all minerals. It's the same thing like seeing oil on water or bubbles, the rainbow that you'll get on a bubble, or a butterfly's wings. So there's so many ways you can manipulate it, but it's never the same, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, that is really cool. And so you said that it started when you're in high school, that you didn't like messing with glass. So how Since
it
you were working with this type of glass, how long has it been since you started working with it
now see, now you're
specifically?
going to age me. Probably about 45 years.
Wow.
So you started when you were 4. Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Excellent.
We don't have to age you. It's the internet. We can lie about whatever we want.
Perfect.
This is true.
Yeah. So you're a professional. You've been doing this a very long time.
Very long time. And I'm constantly learning. That's one of the things that I really love about it is you're always evolving into new things, into how to push, the envelope a little bit more. And that's what's really fascinating. I'm one of 7 people in the United States that actually laser cuts the stuff. So if you go to like craft fairs or you go online and pull up dichroic glass or fused glass, you're going to see pendants and earrings that are either circles or little squares or little blobs, but you very, very rarely see it. Yeah, blobs. I don't know what else to call it, like rainbow, like drops, droplets and stuff like that. But you really don't see the laser cutting. And if you do, 9 times out of 10, they've purchased it from me.
Wow.
So you have a laser cutting machine in your shop?
Yeah.
Wow. Man, that's cool. Is it dangerous? Like you have to watch out from like putting out an eye or?
No, I always wear glasses and stuff. My laser cutter is about 20 years old. I bought it used and finally paid it off about 15 years ago. Used it was $150,000.
Wow.
So
Gulp.
yeah.
We're not getting into that sport then.
But
We'll let you, the professional, handle that.
I actually have a laptop with a computer program on it. And once I design the piece that I want to cut, I feed it into the computer and then I gauge it by the size that I want it. And the program is designed to cut it so there's very little waste of the glass because it's very expensive to make itself.
Sure.
So I don't do one piece at a time. The minimum I'll do is 10 pieces. So when somebody contacts me and they say, oh, I'd love to have a duck. Well, if I don't have people that are interested in buying ducks, I'm not going to make one because I can't, because then I'm wasting a lot of glass to make one duck.
Right.
The profit margin is very small because I don't charge the way it should be if you think of all the work that goes into it. Let me explain the design to you. There are approximately 30 to 36 layers of dichro minerals, and the minerals are finer than talcum powder. And the glass goes into a chamber that is airtight. And then you use a special gun to blow all of those minerals onto the glass, layer on top of layer on top of layer. And then it is kilned in that chamber at 3 days at a 1800 degree heat. And what that does is that literally forms all of those minerals into the glass. Now, when it comes out of the chamber, that piece of dichroic glass that has 30 to 36 layers on it is thinner than a human strand of hair. Yeah. Pretty interesting, isn't it?
That is interesting. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, see, a lot of people that work with dichro will buy what I call scrap glass. And it's companies that make it, but they only put anywhere from 10 to 12 layers on it. It's pretty, but it isn't as vibrant as mine because I add a lot of layers to it. So mine really stand out.
And did I see, so Bandits is having an auction. I thought I saw some of your work there.
Yes. Yeah. I do a lot for charities and rescues in that, where I've done donkey rescues, I've done horses. I just did something for autism, the puzzle pieces for autism. So I donate a lot of my stuff to the rescues. Not only that, but if you purchase from my website, a percentage every quarter goes back to that rescue. So let's say I sell 20 horses in that quarter. I take 15% of the profit and I donate to a horse rescue. The same with, all of the different breeds that I make. Poodle rescue, Corgi rescues, of course, are the big one. But all of the rescues I donate to. The leaves and the flowers that I do, we we donate to the Audubon Society, along with anything from the birds, like the doves and the butterflies and stuff. So I truly believe in giving back.
Well, that's amazing. And for those that are viewing and listening, Bandits, the charitable organization that runs, they help pet owners with vet bills in
Okay.
hard times. And Bandits is they have auctions from time to time,
Right,
and
because
so
of
there
it,
were
yeah.
some fanGlasstic. Yeah, so you had some fanGlasstic items in there. So I love that you're doing that. Keep doing the good work. So dichroic, can you
Dichroic.
explain?
Dich-
Dichroic.
Uh-huh.
Dichroic glass. It's like caveman
Yeah.
glass. So what is your favorite product that you offer?
Oh, obviously corgis.
You are our kind of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very partial to corgis. Yes.
Yeah. As are we, hence the name of the podcast, Corgi Town, USA. So during the COVID-19 pandemic that just keeps dragging on and on and on and on, tell us how that affected your business.
Oh, it's been terrible. It's been
Oh.
absolutely terrible, because the largest part of my work are the large art shows, gift shows, art and craft fairs. And I'm not, I'll do small ones in between the large ones, but it's the large ones where there's tens of thousands of people that come through, and they've all been closed down.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately.
it's one of the best things that I do is in June are all the gay prides. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I again give a percentage of the money back to the LBGT community for education and what have you. But I mean, those are huge, huge responses, and there's been nothing. So I ended up building a website, which I'm trying to get off the ground, and then just word of mouth. So it's been extremely difficult.
Well, we're glad to have you on, and our listeners, our viewers, are Corgi people. I'm just like acrobating over Chuckles here so I can get to my microphone because he doesn't want to be still today.
Can this piece, by any chance, am I showing it to you?
Yeah,
Lift it up.
lift
This
it
is-
up a little for the camera. So for those listening, Tonie is showing us her Corgi necklace made out of the dichroic glass.
Now, the unique thing about this is this has ashes of my girl Zoe in it.
Oh,
Keep her near to my heart. And I
Yeah.
do memorial pendants and what have you, where I'll take a little pinch of their ash or a little bit of their fur, and I'll put into the pendant in that.
Oh, might have to send her some Lilo
yeah. You might have to send her some Lila. I might have to send her some Barry.
for your husband. So Kat actually has a tattoo. Her
do?
husband who passed away, his ashes are in her tattoo.
There's mine.
Oh,
My daughter did it for me, actually.
How wonderful.
your daughter's a tattoo artist.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. So again, those listening, not viewing, you'll have to meander over to our YouTube page so you can actually see some of these this little corgi necklace and Tonie's awesome tattoo.
Yes.
Oh, please.
Yeah. Well, I have a corgi tattoo of Lilo as well, but it's I can't really show it because I'm not that limber. It's on my
Oh.
leg. But I commemorated my boy that way as well. But I love that you do these memorial pendants, and
Let me
Go ahead.
explain this really quick. I've done
Sure.
horses, I've done cats. The only thing that I won't do are human remains. I can't bring myself to do so. If you have a spouse or a brother or a child that's passed away, please, I won't do human remains. I just
Understood.
yeah,
That's-
but I have a
yeah,
lot
that's-
of people that ask,
it-
but I don't know. I just can't.
I have to say, when I heard about doing and we're getting off topic, but when I heard about doing a tattoo with my late husband's remains, I was like,
Right.
ew.
Ashes in it, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, ew. And then I thought about it and I thought that would be so amazing to
Right.
always have him with me because we're always together 24/7. So yeah.
Did you
and now you're glad you did it.
And now I'm very glad I did it.
You
I'm
did
so
incorporate
thrilled.
his ashes into your tattoo.
I incorporated them into my tattoo.
Can
yeah.
you show it off?
I think so.
This is a family friendly.
It is a family friendly. So
it is just on her chest.
It's a heart.
Yeah.
It
it's
is
a
a
little
heart,
heart.
and it is actually his thumbprint.
Oh
So
my
this
God.
is his thumbprint, and the artist, absolutely phenomenal. Johnny Ray.
He did my Demogorgon.
He did your Demogorgon. He did a few. Yeah. So he did those. Yeah, he was able to incorporate, and it's just the tiniest bit, but it means everything to me.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does. It's the same thing with having my girl next to my heart. You know, I've made about 8 of these, and I change off and on depending on what I wear, and I always have one on. So, you know, she's always with me. She's always by my heart.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, sweet baby. Okay. Well, so as we're talking about that, and we talked a little bit about how you donate to rescues.
Mhm.
And so is that fluid? Do you change the rescues depending upon a season, or how do you, how
No.
and when do you decide? Okay.
No, I have people that'll come to me and ask, like the donkey rescues. I've had a couple have asked if I would be willing to donate, and I don't have a problem with it for their silent auction. I wish I could remember the name of the player that was with the San Francisco A's that has been retired, but his son has autism. And a good friend of mine that's in the Bay Area are friends with him and his wife. And every year they do this big extravaganza to raise money for autism awareness.
Right.
And I donated 15 pendants for their silent auction. And he actually had me make one as a pin and wore it all night. So
wow.
I was really proud of that. I have it up on my Instagram page with him with the pin on and everything.
Oh,
So
that's great. Well, I'm gonna, while you're talking about that, I'm gonna share for our viewers. If you go to Instagram and it's fanGlasstic 15.
Yes.
And for those watching, we have a banner here. So if you just look, it's fanGlasstic 15, so you can see what she's actually talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so tell us, how long is the process from order to creation and delivery? Does it depend upon the item?
See, I don't cut. I try to keep a good backstock. I don't cut just one item at a time, so I don't really do a lot of special orders except the memorial pendants. So if you were to order, let's say you were to order a memorial pendant, one of the things that I would ask is what your favorite color is. So it would at least have that color in there, because you have to understand the colors and the designs that go into these pendants, I have nothing to do with. It's all in the melting in the kiln.
Wow.
I can manipulate it a little bit to make sure that there's some purple or there's some blue or there's some yellow in it. But every time I open the kiln, it's like Christmas. So those pieces are a little bit more money because those are, you know, specialty items. And I try to do 2, 3, or 4 of them at a time when I do them. So that could take about 30 to 45 days to do one of those, because I have to treat the remains. And as you know, it's not actually ashes. It's more granulated. There's bone and there's cartilage and everything in there. And you can't just throw that into the glass. It has to be ground up. It has to be fired separately and then put into the glass.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but for the other items, if they're not doing a memorial pendant.
For the other items, about 30 days from start to finish, because everything is a process. You know, again, the glass that I make to cut the product from, you're talking first off 2 days of spraying the minerals, then you're talking 3 days of cooking it, and then you're talking 2 days of it cooling, because you take 1800 degree heat.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not going to cool in a few hours, and it has to do it naturally, because if you try to push it, you're going to break the glass, and then you're screwed. Excuse me. You can't use any of it. You can't use any of it. So, you know, you have to go by the glass's time period from there. Then I put it on the table and I start the laser cutting. And the laser cutting, like I started doing white or opalescent. And if you again go to either one of my pages, you'll see it. It looks like opal. Well, last night, unfortunately, we had a really nasty storm up here in the Pacific Northwest, and our electricity went out, which meant that my laser cutter stopped. So I had to go back out and restart everything all over again. So I'm going to be another day, you know, so it's a process.
Yeah.
And then from the time it's laser cut, then I use a water jet, because you want to smooth the edges so they aren't sharp. We're talking about glass. and you cut glass is going to be very sharp on the edges, so you have to smooth them. So those I hand do one at a time, where I use a water jet that rounds the edges.
That's remarkable.
A lot of amazing work
Yeah.
goes
It's
into
not.
this.
It is a lot of work, and it's really funny because I have people tell me, well, $30 for a pendant's a lot of money. Well, if you knew how many hours I put into it, you wouldn't say that. And considering that I sell them at the higher end gift shows and craft shows for $50 a piece, and people don't blink an eye at it, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so one thing I love about this, other than just the hand cutting,
Mhm.
those kind of details, is that you were talking about you have little control over how exactly it turns out. So the thing about that is every piece is
It's
especially unique.
Yeah.
exactly. No two pieces are alike. So not
Yeah.
only are you wearing a really unique piece of jewelry, but you're wearing a piece of art, because you'll never see another one like it.
Absolutely. See, now the business coach in me is coming out, and I'm sitting there going, she needs to be charging $50 even online.
Do
The
you know
cat's a business coach.
during a pandemic, a lot of people don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's and that's, I come from the events industry, and so we've a lot of my former colleagues, I mean, everybody's been hit especially hard, and that's understandable, but we do value your work, and that sounds very reasonable to me, and we definitely encourage our audience. There's a Facebook page, Facebook fanGlasstic, and there's also an Instagram page, fanGlasstic15, and there is also a website, fanGlasstic.com. That's FANGLASSTIC. We highly encourage our audience to go and take a look at these unique and amazing pieces.
Thank you, ladies, so much.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely intrigued by it. So, but before we let you go, tell us about your corgis. Tell us about your pets.
I have two. I have Jax that is over on the sofa sleeping.
She has a Jax.
Yes, and he's the grandfather to Stuart. Come here, Stuart. Come here and say hello to everybody. This is
Hi,
Stuart.
Stuart. Oh.
They're my black-headed tries.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh.
but I've had corgis from the time I was a little girl. My longest living corgi was 20 years old before he crossed the Rainbow Bridge. And
Amazing.
yeah, and it just, I miss him every day. It just broke my heart. And Zoe was rehomed to me. Her owner passed away. The niece took her. She had two corgis, and the two males that she had were constantly bullying her. So she put her in a room by herself where she had access to outside, but she didn't interact with her, and she became extremely depressed.
Oh.
And my Riley was up there in age. It was about 6 months. I got her 6 months before he crossed.
Oh.
And I took her, and it was amazing because she instantly became his caregiver. It was like he couldn't walk anymore. He couldn't hear. He couldn't see, but she would go to his bed, and if he was stirring, she'd come get me. Like, okay, he's awake. He's awake. Let's take him outside. I mean, it was
How
just
wonderful.
amazing the way she took to him.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah, but I've
so
had
sweet.
corgis my whole life. To me, there's no other dog.
Yeah, I've had 6 over the years. I'm about to have another.
You are, yeah, you're about to give
It's a
birth.
boy.
It's a boy.
It's a boy. But this is Tuckles. He's the baby, and he's about to be a big brofer. He's I believe we call him a factored black-headed tries, part red, part black. But Lilo was a sable. And Lilo was my first my dog. I had one in high school. Her name was Kira, and she was a red. And then I wouldn't have gotten Lilo if it weren't for Kira, because one of my customers, I used to work in the wireless phone industry, and one of my customers came in one day and said, "What kind of dog do you have?" Because I was talking about Kira, and I said, "Oh, she's a corgi." She said, "Oh, I breed corgis." So if it weren't for her, if it weren't for Kira, I wouldn't have had Lilo. But yeah, I mean, and it's OCD is real, obsessive corgi disorder. I mean, I just keep on with the corgi.
It
Yeah.
is. The only thing that worries me nowadays, or present time with the corgis, is they've become the it dog. The way the Dalmatian has, the way that the Chihuahua with Taco Bell has. And I see more and more people online. I just got my first corgi, and they're nipping, and they're doing this, and they're doing that, and I don't know how to break them. They end up leaving them in their little cages all day long. And corgis take a special person. I'm sorry, but they really do. They're
Well,
hard.
part of this
strong-
podcast, though, is to educate people. So you
Yes,
want a corgi? We know they're popular. Come talk to us. We'll tell you everything. What you
But they-
need to be patient with if you want one. That you have to know they shed, that they bark, that they are high energy. They're a working breed.
right.
All of those things and training tips and
They'll push the
life
limit.
with corgis.
My dogs
Yeah.
think they're smarter than I am, and usually they are.
Well, and the thing about a corgi is they're not afraid to tell you that either.
Very true.
Show
So,
you.
well, Tony, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for your time. Again, audience, please go over to fanGlasstic.com,
Plastic? Yeah,
fanGlasstic.com, or the Facebook page, fanGlasstic, or Instagram, fanGlasstic15, and order some awesome corgi or even non-related corgi things from
right.
from
Just
her
look,
laser cut dichroic
Just-
glass.
just look at what I do. And if anyone out there has any questions, please feel free to ask me. Please.
Perfect.
Absolutely beautiful.
Tony, thank you. Have a great
Thank you.
evening.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Well, did you learn some things today?
I did.
Yeah, I did for sure.
I already knew that corgis were a special breed, though. I learned that very quickly when I got my corgi.
Yeah. I mean, and especially, your first one is, if you're not prepared, it's a shock.
It is. And I was somewhat prepared, but not completely.
Well, luckily you have me
That's right.
and Chuckles
That's right.
and, the whole Corgi committee.
The corgi committee.
Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in tonight. Please check out fanGlasstic. I am Candy from Corgi Town, USA. This is Kat Cohen, executive producer
From Corgi Town, USA.
from Corgi Town, USA. And this is Chuckles from Corgi Town, USA. And we hope that you join us. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Please like our Instagram page, Corgi Town, USA, our Facebook, Corgi Town, USA, and CorgiTownUSA.com is our website. Show us some love. We're here for you every Thursday with a fresh new podcast. Sometimes it's fun products. Sometimes it's just talking to experts, but we're here for you every week. All things Corgi.
Yes.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.